Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He is the head coach of the University of Redlands softball team, your NCAA Division III national champions, Jose Ortega. And Coach, I know we're a couple weeks out now, but just the sound of that, does it still sound pretty good? National champions for the U of R.
Yeah, it actually sounds like we're about to start kind of feeling it, because as soon as we got back, we had a great welcome back party. But as a coaching staff, unfortunately, we had to collect all the gear on Friday. We got back on a Thursday. We collected gear on Friday. And then all of our players pretty much scattered on Saturday. The coaching staff had recruiting, and then we had camps. And now we just got done with our exit meetings with all of our players. And now I feel like, okay, hey, we're national champs. We can kind of talk about it and celebrate it a little bit, which has been obviously a great run, and we're excited to talk for sure.
Man, that dang national championship got in the way of getting ready for next year. It sounds
right. I think as a coaching staff, we obviously loved being at the World Series here the last couple of years. But then, things kind of snuck up, especially the year before. We went to the World Series, and then we were on the plane back, and we're like, hey, that big recruiting event is this weekend. Hey, we got camps in a couple days. So we were a little better prepared for it this year. I like to just move on and go to the next thing. But this thing we're going to talk about quite a bit, and obviously celebrate it a little bit in the fall once we get back on campus and we've got people on campus and stuff like that.
So, Coach, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you took over the program, 8 years ago? Is that 8 seasons
Yeah,
ago?
So it's been my 8th season. Okay. I took over in the fall of 2018. So 2019 was my first season. Had a great group of young ladies there. 2020, obviously, with COVID hitting, we were actually off to a very good start, with our season there. And then we've won 21 and on our conference championship, and have represented our conference, I think, 5 of the last 6 years in the NCAA tournament.
So do you feel like, since you took over the program, it was building to this point? Like you said, last year was even a great year, by any standard. But this year, to get it done, do you feel like each step or each season was like another step to get closer to that ultimate goal?
Yeah, I think obviously that's how it worked out. It wasn't necessarily a plan. We show up and we go to work. And we talk about how, whatever happens. Last year was actually the first year that we put a goal on it. And the goal was just to win a regional. And the University of Redlands softball history, we had never gotten out of that first round. There were some historic great teams in the past, but we would just run into some things and wouldn't get out of that regional. So our goal was actually to get out of the regional. And then I think that allowed us to go and just be free in the super regional. And we did very well there and got to the World Series. And last year when we went to the World Series, we were shell shocked once we got there. We ran into Trine, who obviously ended up winning it. They beat us up pretty good. And then our nemesis has been Linfield up in the Northwest in Oregon, and then they beat us up there as well. So getting a win off of Linfield just to open up the World Series this year was an awesome, obviously, for our program. And then, getting Trine there at the end was amazing as well.
Coach, following you guys from afar, and I know there's several stages, several rounds in the postseason to get to the World Series and get to that championship series at the World Series. Man, I just felt like every time I was looking at your box score, I was like, of course the U of R scored some early runs and grabbed the early lead. Or if I looked at the score early and you guys were down by a couple, I'd check 30 minutes later and you guys had the lead. I'm like, of course they came back and took the lead. I just felt like it was inevitable. I don't know how you felt. I mean, you were probably stressed out in the dugout, but I just felt like score early, score late, come back, blow them out, mercy them.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was inevitable. You guys were going to find a way. How did you feel about it?
After looking back at it did seem that way. Like it was going to happen. the year before in 2025, again, we got to the World Series. I think this team, we felt a little bit of pressure in the Super Regional. It's a 3-game series. We actually lost the first game to Texas Lutheran, and we had to come back and beat them twice on the Friday or the Saturday, whichever day it was. And I think we felt a little bit more pressure there. And I think once we got back to the World Series, which I think ultimately was just a goal for our team and for the seniors that we had, let's just go back to the World Series and just see what happens. Once we got to the World Series, they were just free. They were loose. Like before games, we'd show up 2.5, 3 hours before game times, and they're doing TikToks and doing their glitter makeup and just having a blast and just enjoying each other's company, which I think ultimately was the reason why we ended up going on the run, was because our players just wanted to be together for a few more games. And obviously we ended up playing the last game and fortunate enough to win it. But the camaraderie, the team chemistry, the culture, however you want to call it, I think was at an all-time high. And our players just wanted to play for each other and play for the seniors, for them to go out with an amazing year.
Coach, my next question, this is, I guess, a good segue too, is I was going to ask you, what you felt like was the secret ingredient, for this championship run. I don't know if it's the girls just staying loose. I mean, they were just enjoying the moment and staying loose and trying to have fun and, enjoy every single game, and then the extra time together as a team. I mean, I don't know if that's the answer, but what do you feel like was that secret ingredient during this postseason run?
Yeah, I think ultimately it was. It's just we had great leadership, and even we had 9 seniors graduate this year, and even within that group, not all of them were part of our leadership group, but there were some built-in leaders just in that senior class that whether it was, hey, you need to make sure you do this and that, or just another big sister to kind of put their arm around them and lead them in a way that way. It was special to see. I've said this a couple times, but we got out of their way. Sometimes, before games, we talk for like 2 minutes, maybe, before we stretch as a group. And I really don't address them as a group anytime after that. There was a time in one of the games versus Trine where I was, we were down and I was going to get up and go talk to him. And then I see one of our Janae Scott, our center fielder, just taking charge of that group with Caitlin Gondara and saying, hey, we're going to take a senior and we're going to play for them. And you're going to take a senior and you're going to play for them. And I was listening in and I was just like, man, what am I going to say right now? There's nothing I can say. So I just stepped back and I let them go. And I went to my third base box and did what I needed to do there. But it was honestly just getting out of the way, letting them enjoy the moment. And again, just be free and play.
Well, Coach, you mentioned some of your stud seniors. Now, I live in Redlands. I go up Colton Avenue. I know when it's graduation season around the U of R because it's nuts around there. So I'm just curious, like the seniors on your team, had they already graduated so they could just like focus on, softball and trying to win a championship?
Yeah, it's softball camp. That's all it is. So our players, we're done with school in the 3rd week of April. And we graduated that next weekend. We actually had a Thursday game, Friday graduation, Saturday doubleheader. And then we still had, I think, 1 weekend of regular season, the conference tournament, regional, super regionals, and the World Series. So ultimately, we got to be together for 7 weeks outside of school. So, sometimes that's a little scary because they have a lot of downtime and this and that. But this group was awesome. They're amazing. And that's what they call it. They call it, hey, it's softball camp time. Let's do it. Let's just play. And they have breakfast together. They'll lift together. We'll go to practice and then have dinner. And they're all pretty much together the whole time. And they loved it.
Coach, I know you're a Rubidoux guy, but what's kind of your baseball, softball background?
Yeah, so my story is I went to Riverside City College for 2 years. I got to play for an amazing, legendary coach there, and Dennis Rogers. Still keeps in touch. Actually sent me a gift after winning the World Series or the national championship. So that's awesome. I transferred over to University of San Diego. I played 2 years there. I was very fortunate enough to go play baseball professionally for a couple years. I was never this big prospect or, big signing bonus guy. After the draft, I got a phone call. Hey, we needed a guy over here in Burlington, North Carolina, with the Indians organization. So I said, sign me up. They threw a couple bucks at me and a plane ticket. So I went there, was there for a couple years. I was all set to go back and I was actually, my last year, I was like a player coach, more of a coach than a player. I think I got like 3 at bats that summer. And Michelle Dodonna, the softball coach at Riverside City College, broke me into softball. She asked me if I wanted to coach softball. I said no. It's not what I want to do. I was all set to go back to spring training with the Indians. And she said, I'll pay you this. I'll get you a class to teach. And I said, okay, I'll do it for the fall. And then, there was a group of young ladies there who were just amazing. And they're just, coaching a young female athlete is such an awesome experience because they're just ready to learn and eat up everything that you throw at them. And it was an easy transition, and I enjoyed it. And I actually coached at Riverside City College for 8 years. I ended up getting the assistant job at UC Riverside under Coach Garza there. We did well there. She ended up going to Fresno State. After that, I'm home. I'm married. I got 2 daughters. So, moving around isn't really something I want to do. I'm home and I enjoy being here. We got my parents. My parents still live in Rubidoux. My mother-in-law lives down the street. She just helped out with our daughters today. So we have a really good situation here. So I wasn't going to go and chase anything. Went back to Riverside City College for a couple of years, and then the Redlands job opened up, and been there for 8 years.
That's awesome, Coach. That's such a great story. And obviously you're in the right place at the right time at the U of R. Finally, Coach, last question for me is, winning the national championship. I know you're trying to enjoy it a little bit, but already looking ahead to next season. How do you feel like winning the national title is going to help in terms of recruiting and maybe, getting players that say, hey, I want to be part of that. Like, go back to back, like get back to the World Series and win another championship.
Yeah, I think it's affected it a little bit. We have received some emails from transfers and things like that. We have put a big premium on making sure that our team culture, our team chemistry is the priority over our program. So winning a national championship is insane. It was amazing. A lot of things had to go right for us for it to happen. So it's never really the goal. And we'll take it when it comes. But at the same time, like I want to make sure that, that I'm enjoying myself when I go out to the field. And there's a group of young ladies who are going to get after it, work hard, play for each other. And so when dealing with transfers and things like that, maybe it's not the right way to do it, but we're going to continue doing it this way. We make sure that it's people who we want to make sure that want to be around our program, and not just saying, hey, let's just take every single transfer that wants to come back home and things like that. We talk to their travel ball coaches, we talk to their college coaches, and ask the first question is, are they a good kid? Do they work hard? Do they get after it? Are there going to be any issues there? So that's going to be the priority over, hey, let's just kind of bring in everybody and continue to have the culture that we have right now. These last four years have been amazing, and I've just loved showing up, having a blast with these young ladies, and my coaching staff is amazing, and we've had the same coaching staff intact now for 3 years, I believe, with Caitlin being here for 4 years, Coach Andrew, who obviously you've met and kind of have that, we grew up together, so we're hanging out, just having a blast coaching softball. So that's going to be the priority. Again, it has it brought some more attention to our program, and obviously rightfully so. But we're going to make sure that the character piece is there before the talent piece. And, again, it's not really, the goal isn't to go back to back. We're going to just show up every day, get to work, and then, wherever the season takes us, that's where it takes us. But we're excited for these young ladies that we have coming in. We have a really good class coming in. We're excited about them. We do have a big class coming in. So right now, I think last year we had 5 freshmen, come into our program. This year right now, because we had such a big senior class, we have 13 incoming freshmen, and then we have 13 returners. So right now our team is split half and half, and we are currently still looking at some transfers to kind of fill in some spots that we're looking to fill in. And we're definitely excited for not just the class, but this group coming together here, because every team is different, right? Even though last year we had a good chunk of our team coming back, this year we have very talented players coming back, very talented players coming in. But the goal is going to be to make sure that we're going to do our best to mesh the way we have been in the last couple of years, and that's going to be on us as a coaching staff, our returning players, to make sure that they're abiding by the standard that we have set in place, and then we'll show up in September and get back to work.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a really special senior class this year, which is not a big shock that you guys won a national championship with them. Coach, congratulations, obviously, on a national championship. So much fun to see the Bulldogs on the national stage and getting all this attention. So congratulations. Thank you for jumping on the show for a couple minutes, and can't wait to see what you guys do next season.
Of course, man. I appreciate you. I've been following you for a long time, so definitely a thrill to be on. And man, come by one day, man. Come by and check out the team, and hopefully we'll have a nice banner out there for you to kind of look at and kind of go from there.
You know what? I have been to the Field of Dreams, but it's been a couple of years. I need to get back out there for sure, Coach.
For sure. For sure.
That's Jose Ortega, the head coach of the University of Redlands softball team, your D3 national champions, here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.